always have a bit of B-roll at the
What's
start.
B-roll?
So like this, literally filming this, and then they
So
just
we're
put
gonna
it in.
put in.
So now we're planning.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
So you're going to say everyone's name, and then I'm going to say, and this is our breakout autocomplete interview.
And then we'll just
And then we'll go.
walk off.
No.
Hello, I'm Charis. It's Becky, Mark, and Josh.
And this is our breakout autocomplete interview. Whoa, drum roll.
Who is Cash Crawford? I am. I am 20 years old. I am a second year nursing student studying at Londonderry, whatever you want to call it. From the Branya, Breakout Leader. A
Wait,
care worker. Can't get enough.
Key workers, let's go.
Yeah. NHS frontline.
Who is? Oh my goodness, it's the same question.
No way.
Who is Becky Patterson? I am 19 years old and I study marine biology at Queen's, and I'm a breakout leader and I work in a garden centre. And I am yeah, I like the sea.
Yeah. First one. Who is Josh Keys? My name's Josh Keys. That's why I'm on this. I'm 19. I'm doing a business apprenticeship with PwC. I'm a breakout leader. So on.
Who is Mark Mcmurray? I am Mark Mcmurray. I am 21 years old. I am currently final year at Jordanstown. I do finance and investment management. Not as fancy as it sounds, but that's what I do. I've been a breakout leader for the last 3 years, I think.
So
3 or 4. Yeah, I play football for Newton Breed FC. Oh yeah, I work in my family business.
Whoa! Money!
It's also
plug
not
it.
as
Plug it.
big as it sounds. It's a greeting cards. So if you ever need to wish someone a happy birthday, or you need a little pen or something, just hit me up and I'll sort it out.
TNA Thompson.
TNA Thompson cards. Check it out.
Is Cash Crawford taller than
than
her
her
boyfriend?
By a mile. I'm actually 6 feet. I think he's like 4'2". No,
Mark's face
I'm
is
not
so
actually.
offended.
I'm not actually. That's awful.
Are you not taller than him? I thought you were.
Are you serious?
I'm not actually joking, I genuinely thought she was.
That's awful.
That's awful.
I'm really sorry, Mark.
Really. Mark's seeing red right now.
If you can see him behind the camera.
Yeah.
What is my McDonald's order? Oh, that's a good question. It depends on the day. If I'm like going for a full meal, I'm going for sweet chili wrap, chips, and a Diet Coke. But if it's like after breakout, which is what all the leaders do on a Friday night, it's definitely a chicken mayo and mozzarella sticks. They brought back mozzarella sticks.
Does Josh Keys
Sing.
My lighthouse? That's good, it's not? My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. I do play the drums. I wish I could sing. You have such a long
I know, I don't know. What school did Mark McMurray go to? I went to Methodist College Belfast.
Cool.
This is the place that I became a professional at ping pong. I was, for lower sixth and upper sixth, I was the king the whole time. No one could stop me. That's basically all I did there.
What is Cash Crawford's pet peeve? Oh, I have so many. Chewing, like slapping when you're chewing. Typing really loud, like on the keyboard or a calculator. It's disgusting. When people like overpronounce their K's or their T's, so like Kate. There's more, but they're the main ones. Like,
What is Becky's go-to joke? This is awful. I don't have any jokes. I'm not funny. Like, I don't have jokes. What do you call a donkey with 3 legs?
I don't know.
Wonky.
Has Josh Keys ever...
Finish it.
I don't know why you're laughing.
I know.
Has-
That's not my question.
Has Josh Keys ever crashed his car? Yes.
How many times?
I've been involved in 2 accidents. Both are legally my fault,
Okay.
but morally, I was only in the wrong once. The first time, I thought the person coming behind me had flashed me to go out, which they definitely did. They hit the front of my car, just above the front wheel, but then they kept driving, so the whole of their car got scraped, and it was a really nice BMW. It was a female. She filmed it on Snapchat.
No way.
And she posted it on her story. I was like,
famous?
what the heck? What are you doing?
Can we see that anywhere? No. We're going to play it now.
I wish. I would have sent it to insurance and be like, look what she did. And then the second one, I just wasn't paying attention. I went in the back of someone.
What height is Mark Mcmurray? Last time I measured, I think it was like 6'1". But I don't know, like,
No
it has
way.
been a couple years, so I don't actually know.
What is Cash Crawford's favourite Bible verse? I will tell you right now. My favourite Bible verse is Romans 12 verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Very good Bible verse. I believe verse telling us is the not follow the ways of the world, instead we should be transformed inside out.
Nice.
We need to feed our mind with truth, which is the word. And when your mind changes, you're fundamentally a different person and more Christ-like. So I feel like it's a verse that you can always look to when you're, I don't know, been farting about, haven't been reading your Bible, haven't, you know,
Feeling like you're getting a bit too involved in the
yeah,
crowd.
and you read that, you'll be like, I know why I'm necking.
Yeah. Okay. Bit of British talk. What is Becky Patterson's favourite Bible verse? My favourite Bible verse is Luke 1 verse 37, and this verse says, "For nothing is impossible with God." Very plain and simple, self-explanatory, but I think the verse is just a reminder that we're not really supposed to do life by ourselves. Like, we were never designed to do it by ourselves, and just that reminder of, like, if you've got God on your side and you have a relationship with him, like, nothing is impossible. Like, he's the God of the universe, he created everything around us, so, like, if he can do that, he can do anything. And yeah, just in those moments of, like, oh, I've got an interview, or like, I've got an exam, and you're like, I have not revised this or not prepared, it's like, you can do it if you've got Christ on your side, and, like, ultimately, if you're doing everything for his glory, then it'll work out all okay.
Amen.
What is Josh Keys' favourite Bible verse? My favourite Bible verse is Psalm 23:4. I do have another one, but you'll have to ask me about it at Breakout if you want to know about it. It says, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me." It's just a nice verse to reassure you that in dark times, or times where you're struggling, maybe you've got too much work to do, maybe your friends are getting you down, don't know what goes on in your life, but it's just a nice verse to know that God is always with you and he's always comforting you.
What is Mark McMurray's favourite Bible verse? Good question. My favourite Bible verse is Isaiah 43:19, and it says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do not perceive it. I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." I just really like that last wee part about the ways in the wilderness and the streams in the wasteland, because you think of a wilderness, you think like just load of trees, load of darkness, like you can't really see where you're going or whatever, but God makes a way there. And then streams in the wasteland. Wastelands are like, what's a wasteland? Like a really empty, gross, ugly, dirty spot.
Beaver.
But yeah, and God can make streams there. It's just like God can do like the impossible in situations, no matter what's going on in your life.
Right, last question.
Let's go.
A time
Charis.
Charis turned to God in a different... I'm just guessing what the question is. Wait. A time Charis turned to God in a difficult time. A time that I turned to God in a difficult season would have been February 2020. Found out Grandma had cancer. We knew that this time was going to be different from other times that he's been unwell. And yeah, so I had never actually experienced a family member who was like really ill. I've never experienced like a death of a family member, so I was kind of like, didn't know what to expect. It was really scary. But yeah, during the time I doubted God a lot. I was like why does God let this happen? I never think that. I remember hearing like testimonies of people, and they're like, yeah, like I really doubted God, was angry at God, and I was like, as Christians, like, why would you be angry at God? Like, we're supposed to know that God's good and everything. But I experienced that, and I think that's fine to experience that, to question God. But yeah, so my granddad wasn't a Christian at the time either. He had been going to church and stuff. We church in the Brania, loves it. And he would go by himself and things, and my family are Christians, so he knew that we were all Christians and that we believe in God. He'd seen us going to church, and my mum would talk to him about God a lot. But yeah, no, turn to God definitely, just praying all the time. Don't think I've ever prayed so much in my life. Yeah, so got him out of hospital, he never got COVID or anything, which was definitely God protecting him. Even when he was at the house, we were all coming in, didn't really social distance with him just because of the situation, and he was protected that way. And there were so many ways that God was just answering prayer and stuff. But the time was when we were just believing God for Granda to become a Christian and give his heart to the Lord, because we knew that Granda was really ill. And it was, I can't remember what day it was, but it was about 3 weeks before Granda passed, and he basically just asked me, he's like tell me about God, like talk to me about God. And he did, he gave his life to the Lord, which is class. And then Granda passed away 12th of June, but it was kind of like, it sounds awful, but it was like a relief, because we knew that he was like in heaven. There was no reason to be sad, although you are sad, but yeah, he's in glory. I'm sure he's loving it. Really jealous. But yeah, so God just like, I think now I kind of know you can't go through anything that's too hard, because God's always going to be there, and you don't always see him working. You know, there's times where you're like, what's going on? Like, there's lots of things that would just made us angry. But God always shown himself.
That's amazing.
And he's up there, probably watching me, being like, turn on.
That's amazing. I love that. A time Becky struggled with her faith. Ooh, deep questions. I've grown up in a non-Christian home my whole life, so I never really went to church or youth groups, didn't really understand those people who, like, all they did and all their activities and stuff. I was like, don't really get it, didn't really understand God, thought those people were weird, and I was like, I don't really like that atmosphere, I don't really want to go to church, thought it was boring. And I went to like a Christian primary school, so kind of heard about God and stuff, but really didn't really want to hear about it. So I ended up basically joining a youth group through my friends inviting me to a church. I joined the youth group in first year and started going to this youth group every Friday night, very, very similar to Breakout, just where there was like games and like loads of people there and people messing around and having a bit of fun. So thought I'd go along, kind of met a lot of people there who I really got on with and enjoyed being around. So I ended up continuing to go, and then basically there was a kind of an epilogue very, very similar to this for 15 minutes every night. So basically through one of those epilogues I kind of realised that, wow, I needed a saviour. So I became a Christian and got involved in that church and all the youth there, and for me that was like the birthplace of my faith. Like, I didn't grow up with a family. On Sundays I wasn't going home to people who were, you know, like encouraging me in my faith, whatever. Not that they were ever bringing me down in my faith, but they just like were never actively seeking it. So for me that church kind of became my Christ-like family, because all those people were there to mentor me and guide me and like encourage me to read scripture and stuff. So like they for me were like the rock of my faith. And basically then through a number of events in the church, we actually ended up, after 5 years of being there and like actively growing, that the church basically went through a troubled time and ended up kind of falling away, and the youth group ended. Like, there was a whole big divide and stuff. So I remember very clearly actually that night where they told us the youth group was ending, like just like crying like I've never cried before, because it was like all these people who I loved and cared about now were all of a sudden just like disappearing out of my life. And I think the thing for me that I really struggled with God was I couldn't understand how all these people had families to go back to. Like, they didn't feel lost because they knew that they had families to go and help them find a new church or help them find a new youth group. But I was going home to a family who weren't really invested in me going to a youth group or a church, so I was on my own. Like, I felt very isolated, and I remember almost feeling angry towards God and being like, why do I have no support in this? Like, I had no one to be like, oh, go try this church or go try this youth group. Like, I was very on my own. So I remember at that time just feeling so angry, and like I cried for like literally 4 days straight. It was pretty dramatic of me as a 15-year-old, but anyway, literally I remember like being in my room and like locking the door and like actually climbed out my bedroom window, went for a walk. My parents were like, where's she gone? And I was like, I'm just troubled right now. Gotta go spend some time. And actually, I remember going for a walk, and then Molly, one of my friends, Molly, cycled and met me, and I went and stayed at her house for a night because I was like, I don't want to be with these people. I was like, God, what are you doing? And I felt really, really angry, and just like, I could never describe it because I'm not an angry person, so I don't know, it was a really weird time, but I know at that time, whenever I struggled and whenever I was like, God, this makes no sense, I don't want to do this anymore, like, I've done this for a couple of years now, I don't really get it, I don't feel like I'm learning a lot, you're taking everything away from me. I was like, nah, stuff you, could have very easily walked away. But now I look back on it and God had such a hand in all of it. Like, if that whole church had not fallen away, I would not be sitting in the seat right now.
Amen.
And I wouldn't have met every single leader in this room and all you guys. And like, never come to Newton Breed Baptist. And honestly, like, one of the most horrible situations in my life turned out to be the best thing for me. And like, God, that is just so true of the fact that God does have his hand upon everything. Like, when we're struggling, there is a purpose behind it, and like, there is a plan for it. It's the most insane thing, like, when you think about it. It's like, in that time of like hurt and anger and frustration, like, God just 360 flipped it and was like, just wait, like, give it a few years and just wait. And like, now through Newton Breda, like, I've got involved in camp, I've got involved in Exodus, like, I've met all the girls I like live with, and we're all so close now because of church and everything that happens here. So yeah, really, really long answer. Well, basically, yeah, a time I struggled that turned into the best thing that could have ever happened.
Last question for me. Time to dive deep and wide.
In Breda, Belfast and beyond.
Nice.
A time where Josh Keys.
When Josh Keys.
Time when Josh Keys felt God's presence. I would say there's been quite a few times over the last few years, but I'm gonna focus on one. So I mentioned earlier that I drum, and during camp last year, on I think it was the Thursday night, we had an extended worship session, and all the young people and the leaders just came together and were worshiping, and just seeing it from the stage and looking out and seeing so many young people and so many leaders just all together worshipping God. I really felt God's presence, and camps a really good place to experience that. So sign up.
Yep.
Soon. Yeah, I don't know when forms are released. There may be out
Maybe
when you see this.
Yeah.
But definitely do it.
Time God answered Mark Mcmurray's prayer. All the time, God would answer prayers, but one in particular that maybe a couple of you people watching could relate to. I'd say it was back when I was in upper sixth at Memphis College Belfast. I had a group of friends, about 13 people in it, and I was the only Christian out of those 13. Throughout school, everyone sort of knew I was a Christian, which was obviously good. It's good that they know, and it's good that they could ask questions if they wanted to. But like, as we grew older, like when we were 5th and lower 6th was when they kind of started to, I don't know, just ask, like the sort of questions they would ask that they're just trying to make you look bad, or they're just trying to take the mick out of you. And that was happening for like quite a while. It would happen almost daily. When you feel ganged up on like that, it's kind of like, it's hard to do it when you're alone. So yeah, I would just turn to God in that time. But it wasn't until like upper 6th when I sort of seen the answer to that prayer. It was that sort of time when we were all older and a bit more mature, when they would actually respect me for my faith, when they would ask questions and actually care about what I had to say and the answer and stuff, and wouldn't just do it to take the mick out of me, which was good. And then like over lockdown and stuff, like we had left school and stuff, but we were on a Zoom call because obviously COVID and stuff, and we were doing a quiz, and then after the quiz and stuff, they would just, a couple of them would like stay behind and just ask me a couple of questions, which was like really good to see, like about my relationship with my girlfriend, or just like, I don't know, my uni life and stuff and how that's going. So yeah, it was cool that they took an interest in that. It was cool that they actually respected me for what I had to say. And yeah, I really felt God was with me through that, and He provided that opportunity, which was really cool to see, and something that stuck with me till now. So yeah.
Thank you for watching our Breakout autocomplete interview. If you have any questions about any of the things we talked about, or just anything in general, please come and speak to one of us or one of the other Breakout leaders tonight.
Yeah.
Who's on prayer tonight, Mark?
If Maddie Rob would just like to come forward to the front to say a wee prayer before we go into the rest of our night, that'd be great.
Thanks, Maddie.
Thanks, Maddie. You're the best.
Appreciate that. And
We love
yeah,
you.
enjoy the rest of your night.
Bye guys, have fun.
My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I'll follow you.